understanding of who we are, because we were stripped of our. And so yes, the black man in America is confused, to say the least. A lot of our problems is because of our past and trying to get a grip on the fact that some of the same things that our grandparents and great-grandparents told us about, our children are telling us that they are going through the same things. And we understand that a lot of black and white people don't understand that. But if you have a daughter that's 30, 40 years old, and she comes home and tells you that there's racial problems on her job, and that she knows that she's qualified but she didn't get the job. Me being with the NAACP and the SCLC and civil rights organization and working with women groups, I see it practically every week. And it's something that you don't understand unless you're in it. And I'm so happy that there are a lot of white right people that see what's going on. Some of the blacks don't see, and it's okay. It's okay. Because I believe in what is written in the volume of sacred law about truth, and that we fight not against flesh and blood, but against powers and principalities of powers and spiritual wickedness in high places. That's what the real fight is all about. How could it be that in 2013, black and white elected officials can see when they go to Valdosta City Hall and they don't see any black images that represents their community, or that their children, when they go to visit on tours, not a single picture outside of Tuskegee Airmen displayed in Mayor Gale's office. No buildings to represent that we ever came through here. And we know that the cotton commodity is what built this area of South Georgia. And we know that they didn't always have cotton pickers. That's history. And so let me close this out now. I first started out talking about the jail, Kendrick Johnson, the Quitman 10, and public meetings, how we continue to live in a community where we don't have a news media outlet that will report the cutting edge news and very little investigative reporting, where federal dollars under HUD are not being distributed correctly, and the Justice Department, the federal government, they don't care. But yet we, the lower income bracket of citizens, are filling the jails and prisons, and people are making millions of dollars, billions, by incarcerating our children. And yet we sit back and dip, duplicate, imitate, and placate the prophets, priests, and kings of yesteryear. And nobody want to say anything. We all want to sit back and pretend as if though we are on our ways to visit off to see the wizard. You know, we all are off to see the wizard. And we want our heart, we want our courage, we want all of these things. Some of us want our memory. And so we go off to see the wizard. And many of us look to serve a God that we can't reach, and we can't see, and we can't feel, and we can't be prosperous, and we can't enjoy the pleasures of this universe or this world until after we die. While everybody else can take 2 and 3 vacations a year, buy their children everything they want. They don't have to that their son or daughter have a new car. Yeah, they don't have to pray for that. They just go out and buy it. You know. But if you're not employed, if your parents and your cousins are not employed in these hardware stores, walk into these hardware stores here in Valdosta downtown and see who's employed. See who got the job. Go to the city annex. Go into the Lowndes County commissioner's office and walk all around up in the buildings and look in the judicial system and see who's employed. Then you'll see. Then you'll see why possibly certain people are committing the crimes. You know, we can act like we don't understand what's going on here, but white professors at Valdosta State University did study after study, got a chorus of fear video on YouTube. Look, Google a chorus of fear and Willie James Williams, inmate Willie James Williams. I'll repeat. Or you can see it right here on my YouTube channel. I got it posted everywhere. Or go to kvci.blogspot.com and almost a 2-hour video about Valdosta and how not only black folk but white folk are scared as heaven here. This was brought out by the students and concerned citizens who put that outstanding video together. Thank you, Dr. Matthew Richards, a white brother. Friend of mine who used to come to my store. I had a store for 14 years. He come up, we talked, we dialogued. Dr. Aris Sanderson, Dr. Mark George, and some more professors that I often used to sit down a whole lot with, but they have come to the conclusion that nothing going to happen in Valdosta and Lowndes County, because if the Justice Department, if the United States Justice Department is afraid to come to Valdosta and investigate their own findings with the disparity of black educators in the Valdosta City School system, and I understand that Lowndes County High School system ain't no better. But the Justice Department, the federal government, are afraid, for whatever reason, to do what needs to be done. So Valdosta truly can be Titletown, USA, for equality and justice and fairness. So when our sons and our daughters put on the Air Force uniform to serve at Moody Air Force Base, we can feel proud because their parents' rights are protected. But as long as we sit back and dip, duplicate, imitate, and placate a free, democratic society where we have free speech, freedom of the press, and freedom of religion. As long as we can believe that in our head, while others deny us of these things, and if we are too ignorant or stupid to understand that we are being used, we don't deserve any rights whatsoever. And that's what is happening here in Valdosta. And not only in Valdosta, let me straighten that out. Valdosta, for the most part, is really no different from a lot of other places across this nation. We are losing the grounds that the white Europeans allowed God to use them to set up a system that appeared on paper to be fair, just, and equal. When we knew that the laws on paper was never designed for the black man. You don't have to take my word for it. Just do your own homework. Do your homework like I did. When I was in school, I studied the European system and what they wanted me to know about good old Abe. Yeah, President Abraham Lincoln. I always used to love him. I say he was a good man because he freed the slave, but my grandmother always told me to read between the lines. And in his own writing, he said, if he could save the Union. In other words, he was concerned about the economics of this nation. He didn't want to free the slaves. But there is something about a God-fearing man or woman. He don't only want to free the slaves. He want to free everybody. He don't want anybody in captivity. And so I'm going to close out now, but I want to leave this with my brothers and sisters who, from the harsh treatment and discrimination that you may have received, you want to hate on white people. No. Please, don't allow that to happen. The Bible of our ancestors told us to love. And if we let love guide us, or we will be victorious. And if we're not, our children will. You see, they can suppress and abate and control the flow of information. But there is something about the ancestry of God that our people have always trusted in. That He made us victorious over the enemies of God. And so I want to say to you, I'm going to be unfolding the next few days concerning Quitman 10. I'm going to be putting up videos concerning the February the 22nd, 23rd, and 24th G.B.R. Winter Conference. You haven't heard nothing about it in your newspapers, on television, or on radio. But I went to that event, and it was a very historic event. We're going to share it with you. We're going to let you listen to when I walk the streets in Quitman with the Representative Tyrone Brooks, with Senator Robert Brown, with the Honorable Helen Butler, with many civil rights leaders that came to Brooks County. Reverend Joseph Lowry, who walked with Dr. King, made a historic visit to Quitman. Quitman and Lowndes County, Georgia are the major focus points in the nation today along the lines of civil and human rights. You don't have to believe that. Titletown, USA don't only carry the title in football. It carries the title in suppressing the news. It carries the title of the most jail deaths in the state of Georgia. It carries the title of, from 2009 to 2013, the citizens in Valdosta and Lowndes County, Georgia, and the state of Georgia don't know how many jail deaths. It could be 60 or 100. We don't know. And we don't have a news media to report the news. We get a newspaper. And we get a little TV sound bites. That's not the news, my beautiful brothers and sisters. And so wake up to the realities of now. There's a lot going on. And why do we have so many banks in Valdosta? Anybody ever thought about that? Why do we have so many banks in Valdosta? Is something going on here that we don't know about? Or you don't know about? But our children know what. Our children know what the deal is. And that's why I was told that the gang members are gaining respect here in the community because of what they are doing. Huh? Can you imagine? Can you imagine what's happening when people are beginning to get respect for the gangs because they're going under the bridge and feeding the homeless people? Isn't that something? People now having more trust in the criminals than members that's supposed to be peace officers. Something is wrong. And we can sit back and ignore it and say, everything is okay. I'm just going to keep going to church and praising my Jesus, and I don't care about nothing going on in my community. Well, be that as it may. But every prophet of Jesus, every prophet that served behind the veil, they always went in and lifted the poor masses and oppressed people up. They didn't just lift themselves up, but they tried to raise everything that was around them. Moses didn't just go down before Pharaoh and plead that his family would ride out in a Mercedes or a Bentley or a Brooks Brothers suit, just members of his family and his congregation. And so we had better wake up today. We had better wake up. And I know you all wondering about me. You say to me, Rhymes, why do you keep doing what you're doing? You know, I was blessed or cursed to love my fellow human beings as I love myself. I was blessed or cursed to want for white children the same thing that's good that I want for my own children. I want the same thing for other black children that I want for my children. Japanese children and Korean children. That's what I want. And you may not believe me, but I went to the bat for white people right out there at that jail. Yeah, sure did. The white girl whose teeth was knocked out. I stood before county commissioners on her behalf. I stood before the mayor and council on her behalf. I took a poster and showed them she was in ICU and her mama didn't know where she was. Yeah, I stood for her. Because it's not about black or white. It's about right. And you know, I'm not doing what I do to get to heaven. I don't do what I do to get to heaven. I don't care if I don't even go to heaven. Not really. If there is no heaven, I'm still going to do good. I'm still going to treat people the way I want to be treated because it's the right thing to do. I don't do it to get paid for it. I do it because it's the right thing to do. And I just love doing what's right. When I was terminated from Walmart Stores Incorporated, March the 20th, 2008, it wasn't about me. It was about the people I left behind. I get a check every month. It's not much, but I haven't lost anything. And been on the battle, fighting for workers' rights and all kind of things I never could have done if I was still employed. But because Walmart mistreated me, and I realized how much other people are mistreated, some with disabilities, I can't sit back and don't say nothing. This is why I've cut 400 videos and wrote the president, several presidents, over 70 letters to Walmart Stores Incorporated, and they continue to ignore me. And you think I'm going to stop? No, not under our form of government. When my commanding officer told me or gave me an order, I did it. And so I come home to watch and see what I see. And this is why I say no American citizen should go to the armed forces, not voluntarily anyway. Not to fight for the rights of others in foreign nations. And your own right is vanishing in the cosmos. And the preachers, the educators, retired educators, the attorneys, George Rhymes, the common folk, retired military, common everyday people from good jobs and Georgia Power, you don't hear them say nothing. Preachers used to be the forefront of the civil rights movement. Not anymore. Not anymore, my brothers and sisters. And so the second chapter of Joel, the second chapter of Joel in the Old Testament, say, blow ye the trumpet in Zion, sound an alarm in my holy mountains. Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble, for the day of the Lord cometh, and is nigh at hand. But if nobody will blow the trumpet of truth, you're going to be overcome by Satan. And when Satan comes, just remember, Satan going to think he's ruling. But the works of God and the power of God always come after the working of Satan. So get ready, get ready, get ready. We haven't seen nothing yet. We're going to find out who's really on God's side. And who is it that have been masqueraded in Jesus' name, in the name of Allah. But when it comes down to putting yourself on the line to be a reflection of the goodness of Jesus, the goodness of God, and the goodness of Moses, and you're nowhere to be found except in the church or in the mosque or in the synagogue or at G.B.R service on Friday or in the temple. Yeah. You can't hide in the synagogue. You can't hide in the cathedral when truth knocks on your door. Yep. Yes, sir. The Bible says to us, John 8:32, and ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall set and make you free. Don't be deceived. You can never be free without truth. And if somebody's willing to give you the truth in times like these, you should support him or her and stop supporting the wrong prophet, the wrong preacher, the wrong pastor, the wrong imam. Stop giving your money to usury and give it to those. Give it to those who are doing the work of Jesus. Least we fight against God ourselves. The Bible says when Jesus came, there was no room for him in the end. And when he hung on the cross of Calvary, he looked out and he didn't have nothing to give the people. But, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. And Martin Luther King said, I won't have a lot of money to leave behind. He said he wouldn't have the luxurious thing to leave behind, but he wanted to leave a committed life behind. He said, tell somebody that I tried to love somebody. That's all Jesus did. He wanted somebody to know that his God has planted a seed of love in him. I repeat, that his Father had planted a seed of love in him. And he had to produce some fruits. Not wicked fruit, but righteous fruits. And that's why I do what I'm doing. I know I'm hated, but there are very few of you who love me because you love truth. And there is something about truth. Don't let nobody fool you. You know it when you hear it. You may not like the way I look. You may not like my skin color. But you got to respect the courage that God gave me from the age of 14 to do what I'm doing. He gave me a vision to do what I'm doing. He gave it to me at an early age. And I even know the end results. I told my children all through the military. This is no secret. This is no mystery, what I'm doing. Don't think that I'm a crazy man. I know what I'm doing. And I know the goodness. And I know the power of the God that many of you placate, duplicate, and imitate. But in the end, truth, right, and justice will win. Ecclesiastes said, no man or woman have power over the spirit to retain the Spirit. As it is written, so shall it be done. Bye-bye. God.